Hello to you. I'm Fox 26 meteorologist Ramisha Shade. It's time for your afternoon tropical update. Of course, we do these updates daily as long as we're in hurricane season, and we've got a long ways to go since we're still at the beginning of hurricane season and it lasts all the way through the end of November. So let's get right to it. We do have at least a shot for some development over the next several days, but right now things are fairly quiet. So I do want to talk about our 2023 Atlantic hurricane season outlook. We've got this one from NOAA. Of course, that's the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, and they issue this outlook every hurricane season. So for this season, they're saying there's basically a 40% shot for a near normal hurricane season, a 30% chance for an above normal season, and a 30% shot for a below normal hurricane season. So bottom line, that puts us right in that average category. So they are going with 12 to 17 named storms and about 5 to 9 hurricanes and 1 to 4 major hurricanes. So we are going to anticipate more action as we go through the rest of the hurricane season. Of course, so far this season, we did have one subtropical system way back in January. But more recently, over the last week or so, we had Arlene out in the Gulf of Mexico, which briefly pulsed up and became a tropical storm. But of course, it fell apart last weekend. And since then, we have not had any other named storms. We did have a disturbance we were watching well out into the eastern Atlantic near the Azores, but that fell apart over the last couple of days. So right now, we are not dealing with any active systems that we're watching. But of course, as we go through the rest of hurricane season, we will likely start to see more of those systems developing, and they could become tropical depressions, tropical storms, or hurricanes. So this is the list of names that will be used if we do get another tropical storm or hurricane. That next name on the list would be Brett, and then we'd have Cindy, Don, Emily, Franklin, Gert, and then Harold, of course, which replaces Harvey, which was retired because it produced so much damage. And of course, in Houston, we were right in the middle of that catastrophic damage from all of that massive flooding, which was about 6 years ago. So it is nice to say that we are not expecting any tropical cyclone activity over the next 48 hours. We're looking at the Atlantic and things are quiet out there. Over here is where we had that non-tropical low near the Azores a few days ago that was spinning out there, but it moved into cooler waters, it fell apart, and it is long gone. So we're not worried about that becoming a tropical system. Elsewhere in the Atlantic, it is pretty quiet right now, so we're not monitoring anything that could quickly pulse up and become a tropical storm or hurricane. Let's zoom over to the Gulf of Mexico and notice the buoys not really picking up any strong wind, around 10-mile-per-hour wind speeds showing up there with those buoys in the central and eastern Gulf. We have a cluster of showers and strong storms impacting portions of southeast Texas, but that is not of a tropical variety. So overall, we're quiet in the Gulf of Mexico. Same story down towards the Caribbean as well. There's a few clusters of showers and storms back towards Central America. Yucatan Peninsula, things are quiet around there. Cuba, we've got a few showers and storms close by, but none of this being monitored by the National Hurricane Center for any possible development into a tropical system, at least over the next couple of days. We still have pretty warm waters out there. In fact, we've been talking about how warm the waters are out in the Atlantic. We've got fairly warm waters in the Gulf as well, near 80 degrees in the Northeast Gulf, low 80s elsewhere. Caribbean waters, very warm. We're talking about middle 80s, but still no systems to tap into that warm water. So that is good news. But if we did get something to develop, we do certainly have water warm enough to support additional development. As we check out our tropical climatology, you'll see that we are still right at the very beginning of hurricane season, still in the first week or two, and we will continue to watch closely to see if anything develops. Typically not a ton of development for the first couple of months of our hurricane season for June and July, but notice the spike as we go into August and especially September. We really start to see those numbers jump with those hurricanes and tropical storms usually firing up for the peak of hurricane season, which is usually right around September 10th, September 11th. Of course, after that, we start to see the number of named storms, tropical storms, hurricanes go down, but we will be watching things all the way through the end of hurricane season, which doesn't happen until the end of November. So we've got a long ways to go. So make sure you're prepared. Make sure you have that hurricane plan in place. Make sure to know your evacuation routes And make sure you grab our Fox 26 weather app. You can get any sort of tropical weather update that you want or need on there. We've got our forecast cones, our follow me feature, and of course, if we do get any hurricane watches or warnings, you can find those there as well. So I've got a great thing to report today. All is quiet in the tropics. We hope that continues, but I have a feeling it's probably not going to happen. We're going to have something developing sooner or later, so make sure to keep checking back with us daily. We usually do these updates right around 4 p.m. every single day, so make sure to keep track of what's happening. Before now, all is quiet, so we can sleep peacefully knowing that we are not going to be inundated with a big tropical system, at least not in the next couple of days. Of course, we'll keep watching it. Stay safe out there. Have a good evening and check back with us tomorrow. I'm Fox 26 meteorologist Ramisha Shade.